welcome to Real Estate and Then Some. My name is Carlton Profit. I'm the host of the world's greatest real estate show. Our show is dedicated to help renters who are currently renting or situation to help them get into a house of their own so they can understand the joys of home ownership. But not just for renters, it's also for those who people have made owned in the past. That whatever happened, you can own again. Doesn't mean one strike or something bad happened to you, like a foreclosure or bankruptcy, that you cannot own again. You definitely can. The advantages to owning a home are so many things that are positive about it, and we'll go into a lot of those today. But like I said, this is the Real Estate and Then Some show. Then Some is also where we talk about different items, something like wealth building. It could be dating, relationships, money management. Doesn't have to necessarily do with real estate. And I'm sharing with my great panel that I have today, Miss Jones, who is always here, and also Mr. Crispin. I'll let Miss Jones get on and start first because she's the most beautiful one out here on us. So I'll always start with beauty rather than brains, which I count for the brain part. So just kidding. Go ahead. Go for it, Miss Jones.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Miss Jones. I'm a licensed and certified TME, and I work in the healthcare. Anybody don't know what that is? I'm a residential coordinator and a program coordinator. It's a lot. I wear a lot of hats. Not trying to take up too much time, but healthcare is my field, and I'm planning to own my own business in the healthcare field. Been in this business for 14 years.
Got that experience thing. Good.
Yes. Looking for property, Carlton.
I got you. Also, we got Mr. Crispin on here, Mr. Roman Crispin. Mr. Crispin, tell us, my good folks out there, who you are, what you do.
Well, first of all, I'm the second most beautiful person on this panel. And Roman Crispin, been in executive in corporate America for over 30 years or so. And then the lifelong friend of Mr. Carlton Profit.
Right. Me and Roman go back to middle school. Man, I'll tell you that story one day. I mean, basically, I ain't going to tell you that story now.
What middle school?
Key Junior High School.
Okay.
Francis Scott Key Junior High School in Montgomery County.
Wow.
Right. Okay. So, we go way back, and been friends ever since. Matter of fact, I mean, we used to hang out at Roman's house back when we was teenage and early 20s. We would hang at his house. So, his house was the place to go. So I don't know how his mom put up with us. I mean, it'd be, Roman has like four brothers, so, and cousins. So it's always someone's at his house. There's never a situation where nobody was home. We never went there and no one was home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how that goes. But today we always talk about a Black history fact. Today we're talking about Toussaint Louverture. Toussaint Louverture. It being Roman is from the island of Haiti, or his peoples are. Are you from Haiti?
I was born there.
Okay, go ahead. Toussaint Louverture is looked upon as the first leader of Haiti. It was a continent. It was called Santo Domingo back in the 1800s, and he led the cause for freedom there back in 1802. He was a great man. This guy he fought for France. I mean, he fought for France, then against France, and then later for France again in the cause of the Haitian people having their freedom. He is looked upon from history standpoint as the first man of color to lead a country in the Western Hemisphere. That's Toussaint Louverture. So, we've been doing big things way since the early 1800s. So whenever they tell you that we have not done stuff for history, you got to look at them with a side eye, you know what I'm saying, and start. Any kids out there or people that are interested in hearing about him, want to know more about him, his name is Toussaint, Toussaint. And then it's Louverture, most people put an apostrophe, then Ourveture. Toussaint Louverture, 1802. The way he died was tragic. He got invited to a situation in France where they was asking leaders from various countries to come and talk about the state of affairs of what's going on. He accepted the invite, and upon him arriving in France, they put him in jail. When they got him in jail, he was in jail now, and then they didn't feed him bread or water, and he died in that prison.
Wow.
sad situation.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So Tucson Overture, great man, great band. As always, though, our show is brought to you by Real Estate and Then Some. And as well, we have quite a few sponsors. One of the sponsors is A Day on the Bay. A Day on the Bay is a boat company that goes out and on the Chesapeake Bay and the South River and the Severn River, Annapolis, and places like Kitmore Island. And they do boat tours that usually go anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 hours. It's a great idea for summer fun. Last year that I went on quite a few tours with them. Loads of fun. It was probably the most fun I had all summer. So if you're looking for fun in the sun, look up hashtag A Day on the Bay. Hashtag ADAYONTHATBAY. If you need questions about pricing, I got different prices for different packages. Make sure you go to www.contactcarlton.com. Again, www.contactcarlton. I'm sure my producer will have that information for you going through your screen so you can find me easily. Okay, contactcarlton.com. I'll get back to you. I'll give you all pricing strategies. You can even call me if you choose to do so. So this is always brought to you by them. Make possible for private properties to do their thing. So we appreciate the Day on the Bay a lot. Okay.
Events are a great way for our members to connect, whether in person or virtually, at a designated time and place. Sign up to urbansmartnetwork.com and use our events feature to let others know about upcoming meetups, concerts, parties, conferences, or gatherings. With our one-click social media feature, you can invite anyone to an event, even people who haven't yet joined our network. Become an Urban Smart Network event creator today. It's absolutely free, only on urbansmartnetwork.com.
Today, as real estate being the focus of what we're doing, I'm here to talk about the real estate nation across the nation. And people might be like, how can you tell what's going on across the nation? Well, besides the licenses, I have licenses in 4 states. But besides that, I have affiliates all over the country. So if you ever have a question and you're in, say, Utah, where I do not have a license there, feel free that I got quite a few people in Utah that can help you find a property. Not just Utah, all of the other 48 states. But what's going on across the nation is the fact that there's a shortage of houses. And this shortage of houses has been going on for a while. So when you're buying a house in a situation, when you're a buyer, you're trying to buy a house in a situation where there are shortage of houses, it's a very hard process. It's very hard to get the house you want. Typically in a regular market, you'll go look at a couple of houses after you've been pre-approved, and then you go look at the ones that you want to think about buying. Well, in this situation, because there is such a limited supply of houses, there are literally dozens of people looking at that same house, okay? And they're not even going to check it out. Most of them are there saying, hey, we're going to put an offer in this house. That's called buying a house sight unseen. When you're trying to buy a house with multiple people looking at it, then that causes the prices to go up, okay? So let's assume you have a house that's priced at $350,000, okay? But you got 20 people looking to get that same house. You got 20 people putting offers in. Well, the one they're going to get is the one that makes the most amount of money. You might put it for $350. Someone else is putting it at $355. Roman's putting it for $360. Miss Jones is putting it for $365. Okay. And so as you see the prices going up, of course, the ones that usually get the highest price are the one that goes, or if it's cash. Cash is always king because having a cash money deal allows you not to have a lot of closing costs. Okay. When you have a closing cost, when the bank is lending you the money for the house, there's a lot of paperwork attached to it. Therefore, the prices are higher for deals that are financed than they are for cash deals. And then right now, you got so many people that's putting their money. Some people are taking their money out there 401k, buying house cash, or they're doing what they call a hard money lender, where they're getting the cash from the lender just to be able to get a house. The competition is fierce, not just in Arizona, but Washington, D.C., where I'm currently at. I know Florida is crazy with it. Philadelphia is crazy with it. St. Louis as well. I have affiliates in all those places. California as well. It is super crazy. So a lot of buyers are not getting their houses. Case in point, I just went to Arizona last week to put a house on the market. At the house we put on the market, we had 20 offers in 24 hours. 20. Okay. End up taking a total of 32 offers total over the 2-day period. 20 of those deals were cash deals. Okay. And so that's how fierce the competition is. And then what they're doing extra is they're saying, hey, we are going to not request a inspection of the house, meaning they're going to waive the contingency that says if we don't like it, we can pull out the deal. They're waiving that, or they're also waiving the appraisal contingency, which is when the bank sends someone to your house to tell you how much the price of the house is. And if that doesn't come up to what the sales price is, the buyer has to make that money up in cash. Well, these people now are saying, hey, no appraisal, contingencies, nothing. We want the house. That's what we don't really care. And it's kind of unfair to buyers because you got some first-time home buyer who was approved at $350, but the winning bid right now is $375, $380. He doesn't have a chance to get that house. And that's kind of going on across the country. So I wanted to talk about that today because there's certain things that you can do in order to be able to get your offers looked at. Okay, and it's kind of unconventional. So when I say this, sometimes you got to go at a seller's heartstrings. I've had clients write letters to the sellers. Hi, my name is Carlton Prophet. I'm in love with your house. It reminded me of the house I grew up in. I have 3 kids who don't have their own room, so we really need the room, but I love your house. I felt seeing your house. It felt right at home at me. You know what I'm saying? I can tell that the person who lived in the house took good care of the house, things like that. And a letter will go at the person and say, some people are affected by the letter, like, oh my God, I love this letter. I'm going to get a house to her. Okay? Even though she might not have the highest offer. So sometimes that works. I've seen it work on a couple of occasions where they have beat out active cash offers because the letter was that good. I don't know who said it was, but about the pen is mightier than the sword. And that means, if you can write well, you know what I'm saying? So another thing that you could do is I'm hoping you're going in with representation with a realtor. Or being able to get in touch with the listing agent. Sometimes the listing agent will tell them what's expected. Hey, I got 15 offers. My highest one right now is $385. So are you prepared to come in at $385 or more? Okay. That way it will save you a lot of time. If you're at $365 and the highest offer is $385, why even put the offer in at $365? The chance of you getting that is slim to none. Okay. You can do a backup offer, which a lot of people do, but usually in cash, these things are gone in days. And this is happening across the nation. So the hope was that when the pandemic is over, a lot of people will have been upside down on the house or lost control of their house and it has to go into a foreclosure market, which will allow more houses to come onto the market. I just heard last week that they're thinking about extending the moratorium on foreclosures till next January, which means it'll be like this for another 8-9 months. Okay. And prices are going through the roof. I'm hearing people. I had a client last week that had a house he bought it in 2019. He paid $348,000 for the house. All of a sudden, he decided to sell it 16 months later. And right now, he's looking at $525 for his house from $348 in 16 months. I mean, that is crazy. And so he's actually going in the process of trying to sell his house and trying to do that. I'm a little bitter on that one because I was the one that sold him that house, and then he didn't allow me to sell this house for him. And the thing, he called me. It's like only way he didn't allow me to sell it because he had heard that my father was not doing well, and that he was going to he didn't want to be a burden. I told him, like, yeah, my father's doing better, but at the same time, a burden is to when I don't have a house to sell. You know what I'm saying? So there's no burden there. So just let you know on that. So as we move forward to that, it's extremely, extremely imperative that you also listen to your realtor during the situation. The reason I say that is a lot of first-time homebuyers are not used to. They feel that they can come in and talk down the process. Meaning, that same house for 350, they say, I noticed the carpet wasn't very cleaned, or something about the house wasn't 100%. I don't feel like it's worth 350. I want to offer 340. Okay, and that's in a normal market. That's advisable. That's great to do. And not in this market. That's not. It will only happen. People not even looking at the carpet. People not even looking at the blinds and things of that nature. So as a result, you're having your realtor write offers that you have no chance in any way to get that. Okay. And so you don't want. I don't want to have to show you 10, 15 houses and we can get none of them. That's gonna make you upset. Like, man, get this. I don't want to be done. I'm done with the process. So that's why I want to say they can kind of educate you on what's going on as well. It is a crazy market. It's looked like it's going to be here for the next couple of months easily. No one knows what's going to hold on, but that's what happens in a situation with houses that's rapidly appreciating as they are. I'm hearing people 25, 30, 40% or more in 1 year. Roman, if you don't mind me asking, I know this kind of out the blue, so excuse me for asking this question that you don't even know I'm about to ask you. But in your many years of buying houses, Roman has a quite nice real estate portfolio. Have you ever seen the prices appreciation go as fast as they are now? I'm just curious in your many years that you've been doing this.
The last time I can recall this was back in early 2000s when the boom was might have been even higher, right? Because primary example, I had my first home I purchased. I purchased for $191,000, and like I think that house for like 10 years, and we sold it, put it on the market for like 400 something, $400 something thousand, and then ultimately we got it. Luckily for us, we got in a bidding war with a couple of people who wanted to buy it, and then we ended up selling the house for like $250. I'm sorry, $450, $400 something thousand.
Right, that's crazy. Yeah, and so the fact that you'll get these, you'll get boom and bust in every market. You know what I'm saying? You see more boom than you do bust, and that's what the people worry about, the bubble popping. And if the bubble pops, are we ready for that type of situation? And I think we have enough stuff in place where I don't think if it does pop, we will be in trouble. It might go down a little bit. And places like Washington, D.C., which they consider recession-proof, it did the housing crunch that Roman was referring to in 05 and 06 didn't really affect the D.C. area like that. It did affect other parts of the country. I know California, Arizona was like 1-2, as well as Las Vegas and Nevada. Those places got hit hard. DC, I think, will always be fine. That's one thing good living in the nation's capital because of the government being here. You don't see things as drastic as you do in other parts of the country. Okay. Thank you for that, Roman. I know that was a little last minute. Is there any questions out there, Miss Jones? You have questions?
Yes,
talk to me, my dear.
Mr. Carlton. Okay, let's assume you bought the house, and as it turns out, the market goes down. Do I have to keep paying the mortgage, although my house isn't worth what I paid for?
Great question, then. Great question. What she's saying is that let's use this same 350. She used bought a house for 350. She's paying a payment. Let's call that payment. I like numbers, so let's say she's paying $1,700 a month. Okay, and she's in the house for 2-3 years, and then the crash comes. Boom, her house. The value of her house goes from 350, 360, all the way down to 250. Okay, her question was, do I pay off the value of the new, what it's worth, or do I pay at the point of the 350? Unfortunately, you pay the 350. Okay, and when you go to sign the bank asks you, you know what I'm saying, you're going to pay this amount of money each month for 30 years. That's how long a bank loan lasts. If you're doing a typical 30-year bank thing. Okay, doesn't matter if the property went up or down, if there was upside down, or you're doing exceedingly well. Yes, your goal. If you want to pay more, you can definitely pay more. You can always pay more. Some people pay more to get. I know people probably, well, why would you want to pay more for your house? Because you can save interest charges if you go ahead and hurry up and pay off your note, pay your home. But yes, you will have to continue paying that $350. Now you can refinance your home, and that's an option where they can change the original terms of your deal. And if you refinance, if it's favorable, and your CPA or your people who do your taxes or loan officer can tell you if it's a good time for you to refinance. But that's the only way you can do it, is refinance through that. Okay, you cannot do that yourself. So please don't assume that your house is worth $250 and I'm gonna come and do that. You know what I'm saying? That is crazy. Yeah, you're welcome. Great question, by the way. Mr. Crispin, any questions out there for you, sir?
Yeah. So if I just lost my train of thought there. Go back to Mrs. Jones for a sec. I just lost my train of thought.
This is typical for Mr. Crispin. Mr. Crispin, as you probably can see, is getting up in age, and old people don't remember things.
Whoa. Hey man,
I'm sorry. We call Roman Grandpa on the set. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever.
Okay. While you're trying to think of what you was, I had a thought about something I wanted to say earlier when it comes to that value, more on like a part B of Miss Jones' question. Sometimes in a situation when a person like has a house that's upside down, and then what I mean by upside down is the house is worth less than what you paid for. People say, well, why don't you just try to sell the house and just get out of it? Well, if the house is worth $250, okay, it's worth $250, but you owe $350 on a house. Can you sell the house for $250? I don't think you can. I mean, you can sell it. You can sell it for any price you want, but you're gonna have to make up the difference. Your debt is not clear. They know that you paid for $350. They know you sold it for $250. So they're not going to release your lien on your title. They gonna say, "Oh no, we're not. You got $100,000 to make up," and they can take that $100,000 payment. Some people do that. Some people walk away from the house, which is called like a short sale or a foreclosure, forcing a sale by the bank because you say, "I'm not going to pay it. I'm done." But then that also jacks up your credit quite much. You lose 100 or more points on your credit, and you're unable to buy a home for a certain amount of years, depending on what your situation is. Mr. Crispin.
So another question just came up as you were talking about that. So, I mean, I know people go through unfortunate times of what causes someone to sell their home or on a short sale. But with all your listeners out here now, would you want to advise them before it gets to that point to reach out to you or another real estate agent, considering that the market right now is a seller's market? Don't wait for it to get that far and wait for your property to be taken by the bank, or you have to be forced to sell your home at a short sale. Sell it now and get some money for it, rather than just give it up where you don't get nothing at all.
That's a great question. I thought I would say those things in the same sense when I'm referring to you. Great question, Roman. But I mean, hey, that is an excellent question. Okay. One, what you said, boy, am I going to give out information? I'm as a real estate agent, I'm not allowed to give out financial advice unless I have an expertise in that. Let's say I was a finance major or something like that, then I can go ahead and say, yeah, because I'm a finance major, I think that it's the right time for you to sell, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Most real estate agents will not give you that answer, or they shouldn't give you that answer. Okay. Unless they have that special expertise. But if we do know that the situation was going on, they told me, you called me and say, hey, Carl, this is my situation, blah, blah, blah. What would you do and why would you do it? You know what I'm saying? My job is to explain your choices to you. Okay. Not lean on one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get in a situation later on and then, someone asks you, well, Roman, why did you sell your house? Well, Carlton told me to sell my house. That's the first thing people say. And I might not have said that. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to cover it. What do we say? CYA, cover yourself. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not what that stands for. Cover your ass.
Family show here. Family show. Okay. Family show. Some people that were raised by wolves. So that's the situation now. I wouldn't do that. My job is to let them know. I sometimes call clients right now and tell them, hey, your property is, I don't know if you're up on it, but if you ever want how much your house is worth, call me, text me, or you need one of the social media to get at me, and I'll be gladly to help you. But I will let you know, some people I call up, the ones I put in houses myself, I'll be like, hey, your property is rising quite a bit. If you look to sell right now, you're looking at $80,000 or $90,000 or whatever that amount of money is. And they'll say, The problem with selling your house in a seller's market, though, is you got to find some place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're in the same boat trying to be able to find a place to live when there's no houses. That is extremely a situation that you do not want to be in. Okay, that is that's a nightmare. I know quite a few people looking for homes right now, and they're not happy campers. Like I said, I had the realtor call me, told me he had 25. He put in 15 offers for another lady, and they were older couple. They're living in a hotel, waiting for something just to happen because they just trusted God and got it and caught the first thing to Phoenix and said, hey, we'll live in a hotel until we find a place. And, but they're unable. They've been in the city for, 45, 60 days and haven't got a hit on anything. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what a lot of people do is when you're leaving these places like California, which has a lot of people, when you come to Arizona where the prices are much cheaper. Okay. Mm-hmm. So those are all kind of strange situations that are happening to him. But for those people who may be actually looking for houses right now, I will tell you to hold on. It's not always like this. Sometimes we get lucky. Sometimes we will find a situation, but the buyers have to do a thing as well. Where sometimes you might have to check what you really want. I had a client tell me she wants to have a certain amount of bedrooms. She wants to have an outdoor exit to go to her home business and things of that nature. You're not going to be able to find that type of house. Sometimes you might have to find some house that doesn't have everything that you require. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't want a combination shower tub. I want a separate shower and tub. Well, we found a house that had everything else you wanted, but it was a garden style tub with a shower on a wall. That doesn't work for you. You know what I'm saying? Or would you consider it? How about consider now, get the house, and then later we can convert it back to how you want it. A lot of first-time home buyers are not into that. They want, that's not the house for me. And as a result, they spend longer and longer time trying to get that house. And, it's being a buyer's agent is tough right now. It used to be one of the better jobs in real estate. It has to be one of the toughest right now. I know people have been in real estate 30, 40 years, and they've never had years like this. It's a tough market out here. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then you also got all the, other companies out here, help you sell and what we call fly by night ones, what I'm saying? Even Zillow is coming into the market, which is crazy. Zillow's coming into real estate. I mean, they always gave you prices, but they're going to have their own brokerage and try to sell houses. That's going to be crazy.
Interesting.
Yes.
Can I?
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed I have saw something, a house on, it was on social media, but it was a house for sale in Suitland, Maryland.
Uh-huh.
For 450 something. I think I showed Rome in that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. I mean, but the house costing, when I say Suitland, I'm not,
it's
not
laid.
It's just, it's laid. Like,
okay.
I'm seeing not a new properties being built and homes being like in areas that you would least expect that they would actually fix up and, So maybe,
but do you know why they would do that?
That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
Because the land is cheaper in Suitland. Okay, Suitland is an area of Maryland that borders to D.C. It's very close to Washington D.C. and as a result, that section of town you have a lot of the hoods of D.C. and they'll go into the hoods of Maryland. And Suitland is one of those cities that borders that. But a lot of people who want to just be in the city, period, will buy houses in areas that me and you think of as not the most desirable places. And then they will buy houses there. And then their goal is that other people will do what they're doing. And then we'll build up Suitland. Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know, Suitland has to have a plan coming for a couple of years now. Suitland's going to be a boom. It's going to be a whole situation.
Regentrification.
Correct.
I drove past Silver Hill Road and the townhouses across the street from the Census Bureau sold out. No. They're not even finished building and they're sold out. It's sold out.
You got to understand when a builder buys land, he buys that land 10, 15 years in advance. Okay.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they know what's coming way before you do. That's their goal. Okay, they know it's going to take certain things to get there, but they will bring up a neighborhood. I flipped a house in Northeast DC a couple years ago that you couldn't pay me to go through. At the same time, that house was what I was begging God for. I used to go on my knees every single day saying, hey, give me an opportunity to flip houses. And here this house was coming, and I was trying to throw it away because of the address. What's the address? 15th and Montana Avenue, Northeast. Oh, no, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So, and I wouldn't do it. It took a buddy of mine to say, hey, for real, man, hey, I'm going to get this house to somebody else. And I'm so glad I listened. Because sometimes I was like, oh, go ahead. I'm cool. I had a situation some years ago where a bit of some bad things happened to out that area of the city. And so I try not to go back through that area, you know what I'm saying? Although it was quite a few years ago, but on that.
So I remember that property that Carlton talked about.
Right, you came through.
I came through it a couple of times, and one of the signs that gave it away that property was going to be worth some money is you started seeing, I was like about 3 white people initially, 3 white families living in
the street. Right, the street turned white. There was like 1 or 2 white families on that street. By the time I finished, and it took us almost a year to finish that one. It took a longer time because getting permits and things of that nature. It took us close. I think we took like 9 months to get it done. Yeah. We had some problems. We had some stuff that was on back order. And when you're flipping houses, you get delays. So by the time I finished, it was 6, 7 more white family, Caucasian family on that same block. Okay, so that way, as you see, it was changing. You know what I'm saying? But then now the stores that was coming in the area, now you're seeing Starbucks over there.
Right.
Now you're seeing little mom and pop. You're not seeing the mom and pop stores. You're getting the food places to come in there. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people wanted to be in that area because you're in the central of the city. Those people that have lived in the city for years, like we have, we look at it like, man, ain't no way I'm going to do that thing, man. I'm not going over there. Nah.
No, they used to say that too, them white people. They would never.
That's true. I see them. I grew up on Kennedy Street, so Kennedy Street the same way. You see the regentrification coming in, new buildings coming in, people coming into the corner stores. I mean, you see it all over. So it's a situation where because they used to say back in the day that the whites were into the suburbs, the Marylands and Virginias, and now they're coming back into the city. The hope was they said Trump was going to be president, and they was going to put a gate around D.C., so you had to pay a special tax to get into the city. I don't think that happens. It's going to happen now, but that was the situation as we going back then.
Be it for business or pleasure, you can configure UrbanSmartNetwork.com to give you the most reliable social engagement. Think of UrbanSmartNetwork.com as the ultimate social networking headquarters that help you save precious time. Users have the option of creating a business or personal page that allows them to start an e-commerce business without any programming knowledge or marketing experience. Join UrbanSmartNetwork.com now, one of the fastest growing social media platforms.
But I wanted to talk about something, if y'all don't mind me changing gears for a little bit. I just want to make sure that y'all know about a day on the bay. Hashtag a day on the bay. Contact Carlton.com. Ask you all your questions about real estate and any question you might have for real estate and then some. Okay, please, I love questions. Send them my way. But a day on the bay is the boating company that I deal with, and at the same time, wonderful tours. I guarantee you'll have fun. But I want, like I said, I want to change gifts and share. I don't know, for those that don't know, I'm a hip hop head. I've always been. And, I go from like KRS-One, where I'm a big KRS-One fan. Romy, you seem like your mom didn't let you listen to hip hop or something. You seem like the little, you was mad or something. I remember Miss Christian wouldn't let you listen to rap music.
Oh, anyway. That's what
it was. And a lot of people don't know about a rapper named DMX. DMX has been a guy who's fought a lot of drug problems in his career. I've heard, most people I have heard of him, but if I ask my son, he would be like, I don't know. So I'm not going to assume everybody knows who DMX is. But right now he had an overdose. DMX is probably 53, 55 years old, something like that. He's had several stints in jail. He has a wealthy rapper though, because he was probably one of the hottest actors. One of the hottest artists in the early 2000s and late 90s, early 2000s. He's been in a couple movies. His wealth wasn't affected like his drug habit was. He's doing quite well for himself. I know personally that he has a couple houses in Phoenix. I know in New York as well. I see some stuff on social media, and I was just trying to get y'all take over that. And I might be the lone one here or something. I don't know. I'm not trying to ruffle anybody's feathers on the panel or people that might be in the audience. But I seen it. I don't know if I was on Facebook or Instagram. I seen a post where someone said that something. I'm not gonna get it correctly, but I'm gonna kind of paraphrase it. To all you people out there boo-hooing about the drug addict, DMX. Don't forget, some of you got family members. You know what I'm saying? That was in the same situation, and y'all not even caring about them. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not even saying anything. You're avoiding them, right? But yet y'all want to hold vigils outside the hospital. And I kind of took offense to it because I'm a DMX fan. That's probably why I probably took offense to it. I'm a big DMX fan. I always have been. And I felt that, that's because a person had a drug habit or a drug history that shouldn't be as relevant, especially when you're getting on your death. I don't want to be known as Carlton Prophet, the guy that had a felony when he was in 1991 or something like. I don't want to be known for that. I was 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And so when someone says something like that, it kind of made me feel some type of way. But, I know a lot of people will deal with these celebrities, and I think we get celebrities way too much credit than who they are. I've never wanted to worship a celebrity, but I know some people love them. What's your kind of take on that? If someone is definitely doing bad when they on death's door, and then someone refers to them by an act that they did that might be a bad act, that child molester such and such is going to die tomorrow or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be, I just make me feel some type of way. I felt bad about that. Miss Jones, you got any comment on that, my dear?
Yes. My intake of the text was not so much of beating DMX down because he's already down. It was more of how can a person or people actually go off of someone they don't know, never met. You just love his music. You outside singing and blasting his music in the hospital, and you doing everything. And some of us who have done that have family members who are addicts that you don't do as much praise as you do DMX as you would do for them. So I look at it as being a hypocrite, so to speak. And
a hypocrite is saying one thing and doing the other.
That's how the post came, how I perceived that post, that to be.
Gotcha.
It was more of, it wasn't like knocking DMX down, because it said, why y'all praying for DMX?
Right.
Get it. Mm-hmm. Make sure you pay attention to the family members that you overlook who are addicts.
And I think you're right, because I know me and Ms. Jones followed. We followed each other on a lot of social media front. Mm-hmm. I think that's the post exactly. Was that Facebook? Was it? I think.
Yeah, Facebook.
Okay, yeah. Mr. Crispin, I'd love to hear how you weigh in.
So, your example of you being evaluated or labeled as an addict, not an addict, a felon on your deathbed is different, right? So if you're on your deathbed because your action continued as a felon is what caused you to get on your deathbed, then it would be totally inbounds to me to describe, damn, that felon Carlton is at it again, and that's caused him now to be on his deathbed. Really? So just like with DMX, what's caused DMX to be on his deathbed right now is because he's a drug addict. Now, if he was on his deathbed because he had cancer and it had nothing to do with him being a drug addict, then to your point, I would agree with you, then it would be inappropriate at that point to say, oh, by the way, the drug addict DMX is now on his deathbed because of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I think I hear you on that. My thing is though, I think everyone has some good in them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I haven't met a 100% terrible person. And
Mhm.
if someone's at that point in their life where they're not going to be here long, I'd rather not. Me personally, I wouldn't go through a person trying to slander or libel a person's name or their character. Situation. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to look at the positive out of that situation. And although I don't know a lot about what DMX has done into the public and what he spends his money on and things of that nature, all I know is what people see from TV and his music that I listen to.
Mhm.
I just thought maybe the drug addict label was a kind of heavy label to put on him. I
Well,
thought that.
But okay, can I say something?
Yeah,
Is it
sure.
though?
Please.
Because see, I look at it as holding people accountable. So it's to me, it's accountability. If
Mhm.
I go and rob a store and I continue to rob a store, a bank, I'm a thief. I'm stealing
Right.
stuff. It is what it is. If I'm watching porn or whatever, and I'm having sex with like 10, 20 men a day, I'm a sex addict. I'm watching porn at work. I'm watching porn. It's an addict. So why is that word addict so bad if it's the truth?
If it's the truth. So the story to
It's the
piggyback off of Ms. Jones, Kobe Bryant, right? One of my favorite all basketball players of all time. He died due to a helicopter crash.
Uh-huh.
Now, where I took your position, Carlton, is when certain media outlets described him before getting to the point of how he died
They was talking-
as
they
an
was talking about the
adulteress,
Yeah.
right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
As an adulteress, or someone who was who rape charges were brought up against him. To me,
Right.
that's out of bounds. That's inappropriate at that point.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But if Kobe Bryant had died, being killed for trying to commit a rape act, it's all in bounds at that point, because that's the DMX situation of him being a drug addict is part of the story, because that's why he's on his deathbed.
In this position.
Where Kobe's death, when he died, it had nothing to do with what he did 15, 20 years ago, however long it was, when he was stepping out on his wife and supposedly raped that woman. So that's where I kind of differ with you on that, because I see what you're saying, but to me, I believe it's part of the story with DMX, where Kobe's death, it was not part of the story when you labeled him as an adulteress.
Okay. Miss Jones, I know you want to go in
Yeah,
as well.
and I notice, in our community, Black community, we don't hold each other accountable for our stuff. We really don't. Like sometimes we use a person that will just lash out at somebody, have all these multiple disorders or whatever you want to call it. We'll excuse her. She just having a mental no, we can't keep. It's like we cover up and we enable people. We enable our own, whether it's loved ones, friends, even celebrities. We will give them all the excuses. Oh, well, don't do that to them because they're a drug addict, or don't do this to them because they're alcohol. Don't get upset with them, even though they done bust all the windows out your car and came up your job and almost got you fired. Oh no, but that person got an alcohol problem. So no, just let them go. That's what I keep seeing, and that's what made me angry, and that's why that post that we saw yesterday, all that came from that post. It's just we enable our own people. We know we wrong, and we know our family members or friends or whoever, celebrities are wrong. We still give them a pass. We still cover up, and we never hold them accountable for nothing. We just cover it up or just give it up. Nah, don't do that, because they got a drug problem. Don't say that. And it seemed like it started from home, like from moms to grandmoms, and we just put a Band-Aid over, cover it up, and don't actually fix the problem at hand. That's how.
Right. And I understand. I mean, I hear what both of y'all are saying. I just think that, sometimes that, we should look, and it's hard. I know we judge it, but everyone has a phone right now. Everyone has a camera on them. And so I can imagine that's being on camera 24/7 no privacy and things of that nature. It just I take it from a place like I'm an avid football fan, and one thing I've noticed for years about how the NFL when they got the announcers in the game, if it was a black guy who did something great in the game, scored a touchdown or great play or great block or whatever that may have been, the announcers would say, "Oh, that was a hell of a block, great catch." Amazing that he could be doing the stuff that he's doing, overcoming the obstacle where he came from. You know, his father was in jail and his mother was a drug addict. And for him to be able to do what he's doing is quite remarkable. Okay. Now, you take a white guy who has the same athletic ability as the guy that just made the play. Then when he does something similar, it's because, he's a smart player. You should know that's he's, great family background. His father was a Phi Beta Kappa over such and such. And then, he got 3 sons and they're all at Stanford right now. And you'll probably see all 3 of them in the NFL pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wow, you decided to say we don't come from a legacy of greatness on that. Everything that we have to do has to come from a point of view that he has this or he's that, or he looks to a certain part. You know what I'm saying? I heard they was giving Lamar Jackson a bad time. He doesn't get the commercials that the golden boy out of Kansas City, Mahomes gets, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time,
He said the golden boy.
that's why they. I mean,
he's black too, right? You know that.
I know.
Okay.
I do know that. I'm just saying. But Mahomes gets weight, but Mahomes has a white mother. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Carlton, you're saying because of I'm gonna go back like with DMX situation, because I remember we talked about this before, and you said that because he's black, it's like we kind of hold society hold the black man. I'm not gonna say accountable, but hold them. It's more harsh on them than as if a white person or a white rock star or something like that do drugs and that doesn't get the same leverage as if somebody like DMX. Is that what you was saying? I remember.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think society as a whole, and I don't think they do it on purpose. I think they do it and they don't know they're doing it. Will say things.
I think they know.
I think they know. So I agree with Carlton.
I was trying to give him a benefit of the doubt. You know
Yeah. I agree with Carlton. Society has really given us black men a hard way to go, right?
Agree.
And you hear it all the time in all aspects in life: sports, corporate America, everything. But in this particular instance, I don't think it's the same. And to Ms. Jones' point about enabling a behavior, at the end of the day, as tragic as what DMX is going through, I love his music. I partied, you and I partied, throughout the 90s and however long with DMX's music.
I'm not as old as you.
Yeah, you just so happen to be in the same clubs as me at the same time. But anyway, but anyway, so at the end of the day, I feel the passion and I feel bad for him. But he's a drug addict, and that is why he's on his deathbed. Let's not sugarcoat it. It is, and it's and this has nothing to do with stereotyping. Right? It says 0 to do. That is the facts, and that is why he's on his deathbed. He's not on his deathbed because he's a black man who has had it hard in this world. He brought that on himself, and this is why he's on there.
I think we just gonna all agree to disagree. I can't. I mean, for those who don't know.
DMX Carlton, I love DMX. We got all his music, Great Depression. Like come on now, Belly. I mean, we love DMX, but
right.
It just, to me, it hurts my heart seeing him like not grow. Like you're still doing this. That I remember from like back in, like you said, 90s, he was doing this, and I understand some people can't help it. Once you're an addict, you know. But then my question is, was it DJ Flex or Funk Master Flex? One of them it was Funk Master Flex. He says more people should have helped DMX before his hospitalization. People can find the pictures they took with the person in 30 seconds, but haven't called him in 10 years.
I would agree
See,
with that.
that's what I'm talking about. It's like his circle. I'm really blaming them as well, like the people that was enabling him, and just it's just sad.
Right. It's sad. I mean, I think everyone here is a loss. He's definitely a talent. And I think I pray that he's still here, and I hope he recovers. But I mean, it's a situation I wouldn't want to see anybody in, things of that nature.
Of course, Doc. Of course.
I just think otherwise. I just, and I mean, I might be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this question: would you be defending
Sure.
R. Kelly right now if they were describing him as a?
Oh, we can talk about that.
Great question. Great question.
That's a good one right there.
So,
Yeah, let's talk about R. Kelly. Let's talk about Kells.
hold on 1 second. Let me just say hello to our listeners out there. I know Bridget Day is watching. That's my cousin Bridget.
Hey, Bridget.
And I got Kendrick Dolphin, my man from New Orleans. What's going on, Kendrick? You know what I'm saying? Thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I seen y'all here. Some of you got questions, and I didn't want to think that we was ignoring you and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Now, getting back to the R. Kelly, I was an R. Kelly fan because what's my album?
Who was it?
My album. What's the album? I forget the album. His breakout album.
Bump and Grind.
But when I seen the video, I don't know what station did the video of him and going after the underage girls. My whole thing of R. Kelly changed all the way around. I stopped listening to R. Kelly music, the whole little nine. Maybe because I have kids myself, I was think like, I don't know.
I felt the same way.
I
just had a different reaction after all that stuff started coming out. And then when I was listening to the lyrics, I'm like, ooh, okay. I had to like play back because some of the stuff he was saying, he was actually telling on himself. If you listen to some of his lyrics.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I know Roman was a fan though. I know Roman probably just front row at the concert. Yes, ma'am.
Well, yeah, but aren't you the one? Haven't you been accused of being an R. Kelly follower, bro? Or don't you date like women?
Oh,
there you go.
I was trying to make a point about R. Kelly.
Make your point. Roman's being lonely again. You know what I'm saying?
All the fans his fans was really enabling him. Like it got so sickening, y'all. And this is the point I was making with the fans going to the hospital where DMX is trying to on life support, but you disturbing the rest of the patients in there that probably got COVID. The R. Kelly fans, this man could have raped somebody on live TV. They were still supporting this man. He ain't do it. All them girls lying. All their parents is like, I just couldn't believe. Oh, I couldn't believe it was just so much denial, delusion. It was just, it was sad. It was pathetic.
I think our leadership has to do it. I think that was the Trump playbook. Trump didn't, if you didn't see it, he's going to say what he had to say. I think Deshaun Watson, the quarterback from Houston, is going through it right now, the same situation. With the multiple women and saying he was sexually inappropriate or, had them do things for him that they didn't want to do. It's funny that it all comes out when the guy requests a trade. But I'm not saying it's not true at the same time. I would hope it's not true. I'm a Deshaun Watson fan. At the same time, I know sometimes these athletes can get it. Somebody once told me one time, it's hard to be humble, or not humble. But when you've been praised your whole life, it's hard to look at somebody else doing something. You've been used to a certain people doing for you because you play ball well or you shoot well or whatever the situation may be. They treat you differently. Society treats you as a way to be. You always, you might get to cut the line at the store, or people want autographs and things of that nature. I know like Roman, for those that don't know, was a great basketball player back in the day, had scholarship opportunities in the whole nine. But would you ever felt like you yourself was like, people was following you on a pedestal, even though we didn't do it because you was just the same old loser guy we thought you were. But I mean, but you did have the skill set in basketball. Did you ever have like a groupie love? Yeah,
at the time I didn't realize that's what it was. But when when I stopped playing ball and, I started being, I guess, living my regular life, and I realized how people were jocking basketball players who
Mhm.
made it to the pros. And then it made me reflect when I was in school playing ball, how I used to get that attention, and then how some of my teammates would be in the locker room. You would be shocked, or maybe not even shocked, but just how they would describe that experience. They jocking me. Let me go out here. You'll be in the locker room. All right, let me hurry up and get dressed so I can go back to my fans. Let me watch how many of these broads are on my jock. Then I realized, damn, this probably was exactly what they're saying. These athletes today are saying, and they have it at a much higher level than what I ever had when I was in school, because I never made it to the professional level. But yeah, so at the time, I didn't see it that way. But again, so that's why one of the things I'm not big on celebrities. I'm not. I mean, I admire them from afar. I appreciate their talents, but I don't necessarily care to meet people like that, because maybe not all of them are like that. But I know how it was when I was a athlete, and I was very popular, and how a lot of my former teammates used to take that and just belittle people who admired them. So I don't want to be that person.
It's wild. When your boy, what's his name, the singer, dance real good. I can't think of it. I'm having a brain freeze.
Who's boy?
Rihanna's boyfriend. What was his name?
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown.
Mm-hmm.
When Chris Brown got locked up, he got locked up in D.C. And I had a cousin that was just coming home. He was getting out of jail the day that Chris Brown went into jail. So he was just like, man, he'd never seen so many girls in D.C. in his life, being a lifelong Washingtonian. But they seemed like every girl was down at the courthouse trying to holler,
Wow.
or kind of get a glimpse of him. And he was just like, girl, I seen him. Oh my God, passing out like they was right in a trance. That was like crazy. He was like, man, you couldn't believe it. It's like you saw the dude for 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? They came all the way down there, traffic, this and that, and they locked my baby up. No, they locked my baby up. You know what I'm saying? It was just crazy that amount of time that they would do. But as we're getting ready to go, Ms. Jones, you have something to say? I'd like you about to say that.
No.
As time is running out on us, I'm so sorry. Sometimes we need an hour and a half. But I just want y'all to remember that we have another show coming up called Unleashed. Unleashed will be us three again, as you see. Our topics are a little bit more saucier, a little more in depth on certain things. And so I want y'all to know it's coming soon. I think we're about 3 weeks away from that. I'll give you the date as we come along. We started doing promos and things of that nature. So make sure you look out for us. Unleashed, y'all, only on Urban Smart Network, okay? I think we're doing that on Thursday night?
Thursday night, yeah.
Thursday night, 8 Eastern. Well, I'll get back with the time. I don't want to tell you that. Just want y'all to make sure you look out. Also, make sure you're a day on the bay, hashtag a day on the bay, or contact Carlton.com, and I'll help you plan those on boat tours. As right now, we was on the water today. Crazy. I started to call you Miss Jones, but it was just last minute when I went up there. Oh my God!
Nice
being on the water, you have no problems on the water. That's why I want everyone to be able to opportunity to see what life is like on a boat. Not trying to show that hey, I got a boat or I have no people that got boats. It's just that it's just a different lifestyle, and I should have had a boat 20 years. I wish I had known. I feel like I'm late in the boats. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But I appreciate y'all coming through. If y'all want to shout out your social media, things of that nature, tell everybody who you are and where you from or how to find you. Appreciate it. Thank y'all for watching. I see everybody that's online. Miss Bridget, that's my cousin, y'all. My cousin Bridget. She always watching. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Bridget. Shout out to my people in New Orleans where I went to school at Dillard University in the house. The best HBCU in America. You know what I'm saying? And I want to thank Roman. Anybody you want to thank besides myself? Because if it wasn't for your mother paying me to be your friend, you wouldn't have any.
Yeah, I want to thank my mother for paying you to be my friend. Shout out to my whole family, my daughters, Alexis, Sydney, Kendall, my wife, Lasan, and my beautiful co-host, not you, Carlton. Miss Jones.
Thank you.
Miss Jones.
I just want to thank the two handsome gentlemen
One
that I
and a half.
share this panel with. Thank you.
Mhm.
And everyone that's listening, I appreciate you all.
All right, well, cool. Make sure y'all see us next week here, 7 o'clock Eastern, only on Urban Smart Network. You're even seeing us on Facebook Live. We're about to be on the podcast networks all over. So wherever you catch your podcast, you'll be able to check us out. Remember, Day on the Bay, contact Carlton.com. And anybody looking for a want to do a show, check out Urban Smart Network or give me a call. I kind of know the producer real good, and he's gotten people up, got their own podcast. Get at me if you have an idea for a show. We'd love to talk to you about it. Anyway, as well, we love y'all. Peace. See ya.
See ya.